Welcome back, everybody, to the Raider D podcast. I am your host, the Raider D. I hope all of you are having a fantastic day out there in Raider land. I know I am. Man, a lot has happened over the past week. A lot of rumors. Not a whole lot of substantive news, right? But we're going to talk about some of this rumor mill about Dak Prescott, proposed trade, all of this type of stuff. And I'm going to give you I'm going to give you guys my 5 reasons why this is not going to happen. Now, at the end of that, now stick with me though, because I'm also going to give you one of the reasons why it very well could happen. So stick around. We're going to jump in to all of that and more on today's episode of the Raider D podcast. All right, guys, but before we jump into all of the nitty-gritty stuffs about this rumor going around about Dak Prescott coming, what that would cost the Raiders, what is the possibilities of happening, and why I say that that is not going to happen, and then also why it might happen, just want to let you guys know that the Raider D family has a huge announcement for the Raider Nation. We have launched our very own brand of clothing and art paraphernalia for your walls, your trucks. We're rolling it out right now. And as you can see on the screen, there's a QR code for our store. And that is for our first couple of products that we are coming out with. One is a 24 by 36 inch poster, frame not included, but it does come with very nice packaging just for the Raider Nation. This artwork is my artwork. This is what I have done myself. So I hope all of you are going to love it. Scan that QR code. Let me know what you guys think. We also are coming out with dry fit, high-end t-shirts with Mad Max Crosby and the war cry, "Just Win Baby." So both of those products are now available. They are on the press. They are ready to go. Get yours today, because right now, as we are launching this, we are doing a launch sale, and it is going to be saving you guys some bucks. Now, when the regular season happens, the retail prices are going back up. So right now is a great time to do this. Also, I want to announce that our channel member, our Gold Star Raider Nation member, D-Menace 4200, you are the surprise winner of our giveaway. So you are going to be receiving one of these posters. We're sending you an email. You should have that in your email. So as soon as you watch this, just respond, send us over your address, and we will get that poster over to you. And at the bottom, of course, it has Raider D podcast signature just for the Raider D family. So proud and happy to start being able to bring this to you guys. Hope you guys are going to love it. We do have hats that are being designed right now for the Raider family, and we're going to come out with a whole line of clothing just for the silver and black lovers out there. It is called Black Rain Official, because the defense is going to reign supreme, and we are going to kick some butt this year. That is the name of our brand of our clothing company that we have just created and are rolling out right now. Black Rain Official. Guys, go and get your gear right now. Get that wall poster. Get those t-shirts. Go get those orders in. Order for your friends. Order for your family. Everything is on sale in the store right now. Obviously, we only have a couple of things coming out at this moment, but we're going to be rolling out a whole bunch more coming up. So let's jump into what is going on with the Dak Prescott rumors of the proposed trade that was put out there by a newspaper, and it has just caught wildfire within the Raider Nation to the point where people actually believe that it's already a done deal and we're going to be, rolling with Dak Prescott. He's going to be the starter of 2024. So let me give you my reasons right now as to why this is not going to happen. And then I'm going to follow it up. I'm going to contradict myself at the end, and I'm going to tell you why it is going to happen. All right, so stick with me. Let's roll into reason number one of why this is not going to happen, and that's the obvious reason. Dak Prescott's contract is going to be $50 million plus. He is in the last year of his contract. So even if we were to trade for him, we then have to negotiate his contract into the future. So we got to give him an extension right away. And that extension is going to be mad expensive. $50 million plus a year. Now, the number one reason why I say that this is not going to happen is because at current, we do not have the cap space to even be able to afford Dak Prescott's extension. Now, once you get him into the building and you trade for him, you're going to have to give him at least a 4-year deal, maybe a 5-year deal. And that is going to be astronomical. That's going to set the Raiders back from basically being able to do anything else with that offense. Because you already have Devontae Adams making a boatload of money. And then you would have Dak Prescott making even more money. We just paid Christian Wilkins, and we're paying Max Crosby. And remember, guys, we got to pay other people as well. We're going to have to re-sign Malcolm Kuntz to a long-term deal because I think he's going to have another breakout year this year. He is getting ready to rock and roll. And now we are talking about, Spillane is going to need an extension. Both of our safeties, one is in the last year of his rookie year, and the other one is in the last year of his 2-year deal. We need to extend those guys. Those guys, Trayvon Merrick and and our other safety, they need to get paid as well. So Marcus Epps, sorry, I'm fasting. It's Ramadan. Brain is not as clear as it normally is when I have my power juice, my energy juice. But so we got to pay Epps and we got to pay Morig. So where are we going to come up with the money to pay for Dak Prescott? That's just not going to happen. Well, let's say that we did maneuver some contracts around. We did some renegotiations. We moved some stuff around. And we were able to afford Dak Prescott. His contract anyway. But what would we do as far as the trade and what that would cost? Well, according to what was proposed in the papers and flooding the internet, we are talking about giving our first, our second, as well as Aiden O'Connell, a third round, and then 2 more first round draft picks in the future, and another second round draft pick. So we're talking about a total of 6 draft picks. This is the proposal. This is insane. To trade away 6 draft picks for Dak Prescott, who by all means, he's a Pro Bowl quarterback. He's a great quarterback. And we'll get into some of that here in a minute. But to give up 6 draft picks for Dak and have to pay him a $200 or $300 million deal extension, that is costly beyond costly. And that's reason number 2 of why I say I don't think Dak Prescott is coming to the Raiders. I think that this is a lot of hype for nothing. I think that his cost, his price tag is way too high in both salary as well as what it would cost us in a trade of draft picks as well as players. Because, look, whether you like Aiden O'Connell or not as a starter, there's I don't know anybody who doesn't like him as a starter that doesn't like him as a backup. Aiden O'Connell is a fantastic, cheap backup if he's not your starter. And so to give him up and then have to rely on Gardner Minshew, who's making $12.5 million a year, and then Dak Prescott making over $50 million a year, you have so much invested in that. Boy, you better win 10 Super Bowls, because you're not going to be able to afford anybody else on your team. It is going to spread the limit of the team very, very, very thin. And so for those reasons alone, I say that this is not going to happen. Now there's another issue that we need to talk about. Dak Prescott, I see kind of is in the same realm as Russell Wilson. Dak Prescott maybe doesn't have the locker room. Maybe he has locker room issues. There's been things come out about Dak Prescott. Maybe Dak Prescott is a bit of a prima donna. Maybe he's a diva. And that's just not going to fly with the culture of the hard-nosed Raiders pirating mania that we're going to be doing in 2024 with Coach Antonio Pierce. And so for that reason, I also say that's not going to work. That's another reason why I say Dak Prescott is not going to come to the Raiders. You have a locker room issue with him, a player issue with him. The next reason why I would say that Dak Prescott is not coming to the Raiders is despite the fact that he's had and been surrounded by an immense amount of talent on his team, which he has had pretty much his entire career down there in Dallas. He has not been able to get it done. How many playoff games has he won? How many Super Bowl rings has he won? You're wanting to give $50 million a year to a guy who's never won in the postseason, who can't get it done? There's been an issue with, Dallas Cowboys quarterbacks ever since Troy Aikman retired, that they get these decent quarterbacks, but they choke in the playoffs, and they cannot get it done. And Dak Prescott is exactly that. Dak Prescott threw for almost 5,000 yards last season. He was in the running for MVP. None of that matters if you can't win a playoff game. You can throw for 10,000 yards in a season, and it doesn't matter if you can't win a playoff game. And so his inability to win the big games is another reason why I say Dak Prescott not coming to the Raiders. I think the other issue that you have to look at is, does Dak Prescott want to even leave Dallas? There's been no signs that that's what he wants. I think he wants to run it back with Dallas. I think Dallas wants to run it back with him, but I also think that Jerry Jones is playing hardball right now by not giving him an extension. I think Jerry Jones doesn't need to give him an extension. I think you let him play on the final year of his career with the Cowboys. And if he gets you to the promised land this year, then you consider giving him that contract, extension and paying him that big money. But you don't pay this quarterback who's been on your team for years and years and years now, who cannot win a playoff game. You don't give him the big payday. You make him earn it. And I think that that's what it comes down to. So I think him coming to the Raiders, is he even going to be able to earn it? I don't think so. I don't think that the Raiders are going to go out and make another big investment on a veteran quarterback at this point. Despite the fact that he threw for almost 5,000 yards. That's great. Good for him. But he didn't win playoff games. He didn't win championships. And so until he can do that, I don't see any reason that the Raiders would actually bring him down. at all to the Raiders. Now, I've said all of that, but let me also just say there might be a reason that Dak Prescott does become a Raider. And we're going to jump into that. But first, before we do, guys, I just want to thank today's sponsor of the channel, Earth Elixir. Losing testosterone after the age of 30 happens to all of us. If you are feeling sluggish, if you are feeling down and out, if your libido is suffering, it is most likely due to a lower testosterone level. 1 in 4 American men suffer from low T. 13 million are chronic low T right here in the United States. And this affects everything from your mood, your energy, your libido, your relationships. Marriages end because of low testosterone. I've been taking Tongat Ali and Fedosia Agrestis for a year. I am 46 and I feel like I'm 30. My workouts are better, lost weight, more energy, clear-minded, and Earth Elixir has more than just natural testosterone boosters like these two wonderful supplements that are in a single pill. But these are my favorite. They also have sleep aids and other things that you can look at as well. Fantastic company. And as you have probably heard me say before, they are owned and operated by a lifelong Raiders fan. So support your Raider Nation business owners and shop with them instead of shopping with businesses who are owned by some unknown corporation that don't even care about football or the Raiders. So I definitely highly recommend them. They are an awesome channel sponsor and so proud to have them here with us. Go and check them out. And the link is going to save you guys 15% if you jump on it right now. Okay, with that being said, now I promised you I was going to tell you why I think that Dak Prescott could end up becoming a Raider. And it's basically one reason and one reason only. Dak Prescott, like I just said earlier, threw for nearly 5,000 yards last season, and he was in the running for MVP. Dak Prescott is a consistent quarterback. He is a younger version of Kirk Cousins. He can win you games, and we are in a win now mode. We have just assembled, and we're not even done yet, but we are in the midst of assembling the top 3 defense, possibly number 1 defense in the NFL this year. That means we're in win now. Now, I don't like it. I'm going to be straight up with you. I don't like it. I don't like Dak Prescott coming to the Raiders for the amount of money it's going to cost, as well as selling the farm to get this guy in draft picks and have to give up AOC. So you just gave up your best backup possible starter and 6 first-round draft picks. To me, I think that's way too expensive for Dak Prescott. And then there's all these other fits. But you have to admit that it might be intriguing to a young head coach who was an interim head coach who wants to solidify his job for the future. And Tom Telesco brought in, after being fired by the Chargers almost immediately. That never happens with GMs. GMs never get a second chance that quickly. Usually they're out doing something else, maybe some TV, maybe they're doing some assistant work somewhere else or some scouting work, but they almost never get another job immediately after being fired, and Tom Telesco did. So now you have Tom Telesco wanting to make sure he doesn't get fired again. And AP wants to solidify that he stays the head coach. You have a top 3 defense. It might make sense to go and get a guy like Dak who can win you games. who can chuck the ball. And again, he threw for almost 5,000 yards last year. That's pretty intriguing. And that's why I say just because the Raiders are in win now mode, a trade like this could happen. I mean, the guy had a quarterback rating of 105.9. That's darn good. He had 36 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions. I would have liked to see it up in the 40 touchdown area, but 36-9, that's pretty dang good. 4,516 yards. Pretty good. And it's a huge increase from his 2022 year. So he had a big bounce back year because in 2021 was his best year to date on almost all levels at 4,449 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and a rating of 104.2. So he slightly edged that out, except for in 2021 he had one more touchdown. His completion rating was 69.5. Phenomenal. But the knock on Dak Prescott is and will continue to be, are you just another Tony Romo? A guy who cannot get it done in the big game. And that's why, for me personally, I don't think Dak Prescott should come to the Raiders. I don't think that the Raiders should spend the amount of money on him. And I don't think that the Raiders should spend the draft capital of 6 draft picks and trading AOC. So for me, I don't even like the suggestion of it. But I had to address it, Raider Nation, because it has caught fire all over the internet. And I've seen all week long since this story, this rumor started spreading, I had to address it in my live today because there's a lot of Raiders fans now. There's a lot of talking heads now. There are a lot of content creators now speaking about Dak Prescott coming to the Raiders. So I had to make a video about it, had to have a live about it, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts about it. I see the comments section is on fire down here. I'm seeing a lot of hell no's, right? I'm seeing a lot of Dak Prescott no ways. Robert, I see you. Dude, Dak is not a Raider material. What are you talking about? Bro, I'm just talking about what's all on the internet, bro. Don't kill the messenger. I'm not advocating for Dak Prescott to come. If you watch from the beginning, brother, I am saying I gave my reasons why this is not going to happen. So this is a rebuttal video about what is being said out there about Dak Prescott coming to the Raiders. Cali Raider says, anybody that thinks Dak Cowgirls weak should be in silver and black shouldn't even be a Raiders fan. That's a little bit harsh, brother. It's a little bit harsh, but I feel you. I mean, I get it. I feel the same way that, I don't think that Dak Prescott that this is a trade that the Raiders will do or should do. I just don't. It's way too expensive. And again, Dak has proven that he cannot win the big games. He chokes in the big games. And that would be a very, very big problem. No, Cali Raider, I see what you're saying, but it is a little bit harsh because what if somebody does, look, here's the thing. We can all have difference of opinion. The only where I draw the line is if you support another team. If you're one of those guys where I got multiple teams, okay, cool, good for you, bro. I mean, maybe you're not really a fan at all. Maybe you're not a fan of multiple teams. You just like football, but you're not really a fan of a team. And then I can respect that. Like, that's cool. You're not a Raiders fan. You're not a Saints fan. You're not a Cowboys fan. You just like football. Great. But if you're a Raiders fan and you support another team, that's when I'm just like, dude, how can you call yourself a Raider? But we can disagree on who could be the quarterback. We can disagree on who should be the running back. We can disagree on what type of moves that the Raiders should or should not make. I mean, there were people who liked McDaniels. I hated the idea. I knew it was going to turn into a complete and utter disaster. But respect to the people that thought, hey, let's give this dude a chance. He's supposed to be a guru. Who knows? Maybe we'll win some Super Bowls. Difference of opinion is quite okay, right? I have other content creators out there that I've disagreed with, and I've let my feelings be known about my disagreements with them on certain things. But those are just things that could hurt the Raiders, or if you're just not really a fan, but you're kind of like pretending to be, that's when I'm going to say something. But other than that, like, for example, half of what Sanjeet says in regards to a quarterback. I love Sanjeet's breakdown on film. I love his videos. I watch him. I disagree on just about everything he says when it comes to a quarterback. I just don't know what he's thinking. Same thing with Mitch over there at Chat Sports. When it comes to, we got to go get a rookie quarterback right now, and we're going to win a Super Bowl this year. When has that ever happened? Never. Rookie quarterbacks don't go and win Super Bowls. It just doesn't happen. Most rookie quarterbacks take 2 to 3 years to acclimate to the NFL. College football is completely different as far as scheming and play style and caliber of talent. And so while we do need to draft a rookie quarterback, don't get your hopes up that rookie quarterback is going to get you to a Super Bowl year one. It might take 2 to 3 years. And that's why I understand the premise of the article saying that the Raiders are in win now mode, right? We don't want to win 2 or 3 years from now. We're not in a rebuild mode. We've already been through that. Now we just got to win. And so I understand the premise of the article was that if you brought in Dak Prescott, he brings you that high-level veteran quarterback ability to put up over 4,000 yards and 35 touchdowns, and he's never been big on interceptions, right? So he's not going to turn the ball over a ton, and he can get you some touchdowns with his feet. And then, according to the article, this is not the Raider D's opinion. Again, I want to make it very clear. My opinion is against making a trade for Dak Prescott. But in the article's opinion, the Raiders are in win mode right now. We have an aging stud receiver named Davante Adams, who's not going to be Davante Adams forever. Max Crosby's career is wasting away with a team that can't win. We just brought in Christian Wilkins, who is top 3 defensive tackle in the NFL. And we're making moves all over. Malcolm Kuntz is coming up. Tyree Wilson is entering his second year. He should hopefully show that first-round caliber talent and athleticism in year 2. So he could be a stud. I mean, literally, we could have the best defensive line, and I think we will, in the entire NFL. And so you have to have a quarterback that is going to be able to win you games now.